I'm just aware. You know, some people are like, oh my gosh, it's stuck. They said it stuck with her. No, it didn't stick with me. You know, just sometimes you're aware that you're not everybody's favorite.
Michelle Williams' time in Destiny's Child brought her massive success and a lot of heartache. On one side, she joined a chart-topping trio whose songs topped the world. On the other, she often felt pushed aside, never quite loved as much as Beyoncé or Kelly. Fans and even the people running the group made it plain. Michelle should be thankful there were thousands of hopefuls who would have taken her spot in a second. They expected her to stay in the shadows while the other two stars shined. But let's rewind a little. Michelle wasn't a total newcomer when she joined Destiny's Child. She started singing in her church choir at age 7, honing her voice in Sunday services. Later, she enrolled at Louisiana State University to study criminal justice, until she realized the courtroom wasn't her stage. After 2 years, she left school and performed in local clubs. She even did backup vocals for R&B star Monica. It was through that gig that fate stepped in. Meanwhile, Destiny's Child was in turmoil. The original lineup, Beyoncé Knowles, Kelly Rowland, Latavia Robertson, and LaToya Luckett, had just split in two. Latavia and LaToya accused the group's manager of unfair pay, and they walked away. Fans loved the quartet, so when Beyoncé and Kelly looked for new members, they had big shoes to fill. That's when Michelle and another singer, Farrah Franklin, came aboard. Farrah's time was short, 5 months in fact. She lost her spot on promotional tours and soon faded from view. But Michelle stayed. Joining was like jumping onto a speeding train, she once said. I learned on the fly. I didn't have the media training or choreography practice that Bey and Kelly did. I just asked, what do you need me to do? Her humble attitude and willingness to work hard earned respect backstage even if some fans grumbled. They questioned her talent and griped about her vocal parts, forever comparing her to the powerhouse voices of her bandmates. Yet Michelle stayed focused on one goal: help the group win, and win they did. Their single, Independent Women part, I for the Charlie's Angels soundtrack, shot straight to #1. That success cleared the way for their next record, Survivor, which became a global smash, hitting #1 on the Billboard 200 and selling over 10 million copies worldwide. It was on Survivor that many listeners first noticed Michelle's warm, gospel-tinged harmonies. Her church-trained roots gave the songs a soulful edge. Even with that achievement, the whispers continued.
Like when I fell on live TV, it took me years to be able to watch that because everybody makes such a big deal about it. And I was like, let me rest when I'm over it.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get over it.
Why do you think it took you a while?
Because people acted like I was the only human on the planet
The falls.
to fall.
Also, when Jennifer Lawrence falls on the red carpet, she's more relatable now.
Again, and I can laugh at it now. You know, I'm reminded of it probably. It used to be every week that somebody would do a meme.
Whenever Michelle opened up about feeling insecure, questioning whether her voice was strong enough, critics piled on. Yet the singer refused to let the chatter stop her. She leaned into her background, working on her tone and phrasing until she found a style uniquely her own. When Destiny's Child eventually split in the mid-2000s, Michelle faced a familiar crossroad. Would she return to her gospel beginnings or try pop solo work? She chose both. Her first solo album, Heart to Yours, was a collection of inspirational songs that topped the gospel charts. Later, she experimented with more radio-friendly pop on albums like Unexpected. Through it all, she never lost sight of where she came from, the pews of her childhood church. Today, Michelle looks back on her journey with mixed feelings. She cherishes the #1 hits, the sold-out tours, and the sisterhood she built with Beyoncé and Kelly. But she also remembers the sting of feeling like the odd one out. Management once told her to be grateful she got a verse at all. Fans seemed to treat her as an afterthought. Those moments left scars. Still, Michelle's story is far from over. She's become a respected Broadway performer, an Emmy-nominated actress, and a role model for anyone who's ever felt undervalued. She speaks openly about her battles with depression and the strength she found in faith. And she pours her heart into each project, whether it's a gospel choir, a TV role, or a pop record. In the end, Michelle Williams shows us that success isn't just about taking center stage. It's about finding your own voice, even when the spotlight seems trained elsewhere. She stayed true to herself, and in doing so, became a star in her own right.
Manager at the time as well. Hey, I think I'm dealing with some depression, and he wanted me to see the brighter side of things. No, y'all are about to go on tour. Y'all got Barbie dolls. What are you talking about? Y'all just signed a crazy big deal with Columbia. I could see myself in a pit trying to get out, just feeling so heavy that when I would make one step, the weight would just...
But being in Destiny's Child wasn't always easy for Michelle. Standing beside Beyoncé and Kelly, she often felt invisible. Beyoncé was the group's superstar. She could sing, dance, and shine on any stage. Kelly, too, drew everyone's eyes with her striking looks and powerful voice. Fans wanted to be Beyoncé or date Kelly, so it was hard for Michelle to get noticed. People thought she didn't fit the group's style and believed her singing and dancing weren't on the same level. Even though Michelle worked hard, many listeners just saw her as the quieter member.
I knew about her back then when she showed up.
You know, when I got into Destiny's Child, it was a moving train. So I was learning as I was going, right? I didn't have a lot of the media training and the development that Beyoncé and Kelly had. I came in that group a team player. I came in that group, what do y'all need me to do? Because I knew of these girls who had a dream and an aspect of that didn't work out. How can I come in and help us win? So I always feel like regardless, throughout the years, regardless of what has been written about me, whatever is said about me, I knew my mission and we had an agreement. We're here to win.
Michelle Williams walked into Destiny's Child at the height of their fame, joining a group that already included Beyoncé and Kelly. Both women had trained in singing and dancing since childhood, mastering every step and note long before they ever hit a stage. By contrast, Michelle stepped into #1 hits almost overnight. She came into the spotlight with hardly any training, and while she gave it her all, her moves sometimes looked a bit rigid. Fans were quick to praise Beyoncé's fluid dancing and Kelly's powerful voice, and just as fast to point out every slip by Michelle. Adjusting to that intense attention wasn't easy. Suddenly, she was wearing glitzy outfits and showing more skin than she ever had before, all while cameras, and critics watched her every move. "I had to learn a whole new me," she once admitted. "It took time, but I got there." On top of that, her role inside the group usually meant singing bridges, background vocals, or little ad-libs, parts that let Beyoncé and Kelly shine in the spotlight. Because most people only heard Michelle in supporting moments, many assumed she simply wasn't on the same level. Meanwhile, early members LaToya Luckett and Latavia Robertson had left amid disagreements with management. Fans disappointed by their departure channeled their frustration toward Michelle, even though she'd done nothing to cause the split. As success after success piled up, hit singles, TV appearances, magazine covers, Michelle quietly carried more weight than most realized. Inside, though, the constant critique began to wear on her. She told her manager she felt down, even worried she might be sinking into depression. He told her she had nothing to complain about. The group was selling. Records and brands were lining up for endorsements. Still, Michelle found a way to turn things around on her own. In 2002, she became the first Destiny's Child member to release a solo album.
And while she keep up,
she embraced her roots in
dancing was a
gospel
bit
music,
stiff.
releasing Heart to Yours and later Journey to Freedom. That fourth record debuted at number
While
29
propping up
on the
Beyoncé
Billboard
and Kelly,
200,
Michelle
and its single Say Yes, which featured both Beyoncé and Kelly, became one of her most beloved tracks. That song reminded everyone of her talent and gave her a moment in the sun that was entirely her own. Today, Michelle keeps busy with Broadway shows, solo tours, and regular charity work. Yet even now, plenty of posts online poke fun at her or compare her unfavorably to her former bandmates. That finally seems to be changing. Other artists and fans have started to speak up in her defense, praising her dedication and resilience. Many point out that Michelle had to learn years' worth of choreography and vocal arrangements in just a few months. She stepped into a group already polished by years of rehearsal and immediately delivered night after night. no small feat. Michelle Williams deserves every bit of respect for her journey. She joined a world-class act without the lifelong training her peers had enjoyed, yet she found her place, honed her craft, and even built a separate career on her own terms. She earned the nickname Queen of the Bridges for her flawless vocals in those critical moments of Destiny's Child songs. It's high time she received the recognition she's earned, not just as the third member of a legendary trio, but as an artist who never stopped growing. Now, more than ever, Michelle is finally getting the appreciation she's long deserved, and it's well past time for the world to give her those flowers.